happy husband, happy wife, happy life. That's right. Not one, both.
Talk that talk, George.
Real talk.
Hello, this is Broken to Redeem. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jaslyn Thompson.
I'm Marshall Thompson.
And we thank you so much again for tuning in today. You're going to hear a good word.
Yep. And we are Broken to Redeem. My wife normally says that. So.
I said it in the beginning, that's why.
We are Broken to Redeem?
I said, welcome to Broken to Redeem.
All right, this is what we do back and forth too. Just so y'all know.
All right, so guys, so today you're in for a treat. We're going to be talking about our relationship and how we got through the chaos.
Yes.
And how we got to where we are today, which took a lot of work. So.
A lot of work. It took a lot of work. I'd say it was about 10 years of hell packed into probably 1 year, 2 years, 3 years times 3. So it's the grace of God that we made it here. So we want to do this to really help other couples who think that they can't make it the same way that we thought that we couldn't make it. So now we want to share with you guys. The word says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So
yes,
that's where we at right now. So we're going to give you a little backdrop, all right? We went through processes of getting ready to be divorced. We went through everything, all right, multiple times. Packed up bags. So how it first started, my wife was...
talk about how we met, right?
Yeah, how we first met.
So we're gonna talk about how you try to bag me in the
she tried to beat me to it.
I'm just saying.
She tried to beat me to it before I could say it because she heard me say it. First of all, she was liking, you were liking, I saw like on Instagram. I didn't know who this woman was. All right, so I'm seeing like, and I said, you know what? Let me inbox her to see if I can help her with any services.
I don't know about the like.
No,
I may have liked like a few of your, martial arts, kind of boot camp things that you were doing because I was, on my, my soft girl era, like trying to be fit and fine.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying, I was just, I had went through a lot. So I was on the verge of getting my body right. And your best friend's sister, Sonia, shout out to Sonia.
Sonia B's Boutique.
Yes, Sonia B's Boutique. I followed her, purchased some stuff from her, and she had put something out about you, being her trainer. So I was like, oh, okay. I said, let me see what this man got going on. So I would look at your workout videos, and I would like them. I don't know if I like them, but I like some of them.
Right.
But anyways, we'll go. Okay, keep on going.
Let's keep real. First of all, you weren't doing.
So you wanted me, and then what happened?
You trying to shut me out. First of all, you weren't doing no working out, so I know you weren't looking for workout. But if you want to keep that story, I'm gonna let you keep that story. But anyway, I inboxed her, and once I inboxed her, we started talking, and she started telling me. You started telling me about different things that you had gone through, and once you started telling me what you had gone through, I was like, man, this girl got a story. She went through some things, so I said, let me communicate with her. We started communicating, and the next thing I know, we exchanged information, exchanged numbers, and we were talking. And throughout that process, you were telling me about what you had just gone through, and I remember after you told me what you had gone through, I told you what I had gone through, and then I told you about testimony. But tell a little bit about what happened. What did you go through?
Well, myself, I had just came out of a 4-year relationship. Where I was really praying to God a lot because I know that person was trying to propose to me. And I wanted to know, God, is this the person that you have for me? I already knew that he wasn't the one for me. But, when you ask God for the truth, he'll reveal it in a certain way. So this time it was just like a bomb dropped, I woke up one night and God showed me a vision of where to find him. And I went there and long story short, found out that he had somebody pregnant. And we had been together for, like I said, for about 4.5 years. And I think the girl at that time was 8 months pregnant. And everybody was keeping it away from me. So I was really close to his family. And they knew, obviously, he knew. And at that point, I was just like, God, I'm done. I don't want to I'm not messing with nobody. I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. Like, I'm good. And, I dated a few people, just to have, places to go, free meals, whatever. And then I ran across you, and, you hit me up on the DMs, as I said. And it went from there. The conversation was so good. I kind of felt like, and before all this started, the day after I found out about my ex-boyfriend at the time, having a baby on the way, my friend had called me and was like, there's a revival, and I know you're going through a lot right now, come to the revival. So we went to the revival, and make a long story short, they had an altar call, and everybody was downstairs. It was in the Coliseum. And the pastors and their wives were on stage. And one of the wives, she actually came down off the stage, and she started to move around the crowd with her hand. And she stopped at my heart, and she said, the suffering that you went through was not in vain. God is letting you know that he has you, that your husband is on his way. So basically, don't lose hope. And I think at that point, I was just thirsting for God so much in that moment that I was just like, I don't want anybody but you, Father. That's it. And I wrote down, actually, that weekend, I wrote down what I want in a husband and what I don't want, right?
So, now let me jump in. So this was the story, guys, that she told me after I told her of a story and a testimony that I had just gone through. So my story is basically, I had been married for a few years, and within that, I found out my wife had been doing some other things behind the scene, and I was heartbroken. I was totally faithful the whole time through the marriage, and I was heartbroken through the process, but I healed by that time because I loved her tremendously, and we were like really, really, really tight. So within that process, I went to church, and Minister Freddie called me over, and he said, Marshall, I had a dream about you about 5 a.m. Or God, no, he didn't. He said, God woke me up at about 5 a.m. And I told him his wife, Pauline, he said, I told my wife that who was Marshall? And he couldn't even think of who I was. He said, Marshall. So he came over to me and told me how God told him that everything I've gone through, it wasn't in vain, and that he was preparing my wife for me while he's trying to prepare me, and that the pain I've gone through, it wasn't for nothing. And he said, put your hand out. And I put my hand out, and he said, keep your hand out of the cookie jar, whatever, telling me, but you got to do what you need to do. What you laughing for?
Because my hand ain't stay out that cookie jar.
All right, you know what? That was your fault. I was trying.
All right, okay,
yeah, that was
go
you.
Ahead, go ahead.
All right, because I really had goals to try to be celibate. I was trying. This woman didn't let me, but I'm gonna leave it.
I ain't let you, but
all right, we're gonna fast forward.
Okay,
so
ahead.
Once I told her about that, she then told me about a person came to her at a revival and gave her the story. I'm like, woman, you trying to run a game with me. Like, I know I look like that dude, but I ain't him, right? I know I look like the guy people can run game on or do whatever. I'm like, I ain't believe. She said, it did happen. So she said, you're going to screenshot me
the note. The note that I wrote, correct.
So when she sent me the note, I'm reading the note, and the note basically said, at the top, the date was my birthday. So I'm like, holy moly, like, God, like, not only did she not lie, because you can't go back in the iPhone and change the date on it. And it showed the things that we talked about outline, and I was like, whoo. And then, so you didn't know my birthday. And I told you that's my birthday. So it was like, wow. Then talking to you, I remember seeing you on the FaceTime, and I'm like, man, rewind a little bit. Man, this girl is gorgeous. Like, most times people don't look as well on FaceTime in person as they do on
pictures.
On Instagram. You actually look better, right? No fake stuff. I think maybe eyelashes might have been fake. I ain't sure. But the rest of you, your hair was good. Gorgeous. You didn't have no makeup on. But I love your eyelashes though. I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Guys, I often ask her to put the eyelashes on. I like.
See, that's the only thing. See, my husband, he's really frugal. He's frugal Freddie. And when it comes to me buying stuff, he's always had something to say. But when it comes to these lashes, he'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead, do that."
Do those lashes. I might pay to get those lashes surgically put in.
Oh,
but
okay.
nah, don't hold me
No,
on that.
I was thinking like, okay, go ahead. He don't know how expensive that is, but go ahead.
I'm just joking. Everybody heard that. But anyway, so throughout that period of time, we was on the Bible. We were doing a lot of Bible studies together.
Yes.
So at that moment, though, once we
Mm-hmm.
were talking, I'm like, man, people think, after the fact, I found out people thought that I had been dating you when we got married, or we had been.
We were so connected.
We were so connected, and then you popped up out of nowhere, not realizing that I had never known you. I never talked to you. And
But it felt like we knew each other.
Yeah, it felt like we knew each other
for so many years, because it was just like I would always tell him, like, I feel like you are the male version of my heart. You know, and I went back to that list of what I wanted in my husband, and you checked off every last thing that I had, and I said, God, this is it. This is what you have. But I was so afraid of everything that had happened to me, everything that I've gone through in the past, and I'm like, do I want to? And so it was such a short time from when the whole baby situation happened to me speaking with you. I think it was like, what, 4 months? And I was like, do I want to give this a try? Do I want to, possibly, get my heart broken again? Do I want to put in years again? Like, I've been good. It's just me and you, God, and I've been so good with that. And every single time that I would go to you and I would say, we could be friends. Like, you cool. We could be friends, But I don't want to be boyfriend and girlfriend. That's something I'm not into that. Or,
You're like I was asking.
No, it was no. It was the situation of you going to.
But let's rewind before you go there. We be doing Bibles. We did a Bible study on the phone. We was looking through Isaiah 43, chapter 43, and while we was reading, I'm hearing the whole time. I think it was Isaiah 43. I don't remember which part. I'm hearing. Come in my head, man. That's me. I heard 3 times. That's me. Cause we do Bible studies all the time with nothing but it's just being good friends.
Right.
And after we got finished, I was about to tell you that I heard it 3 times, and you immediately said, God said,
"Yep, that this is you."
God told me this is you. I was like, whoa. So I'm looking at that from the birthday thing. You got basically the same word that I had. Looking at hearing God like that, you heard exactly what I was feeling within me, like, and you don't know me like that. So from then on, I was like, man, even though I had recently met somebody that I felt that fit the mold, you know what I'm saying, of who I could be with, I just said, I gotta cut this off. I can't continue because I don't play with people. Like, because before then, I was that dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was really.
My husband has a saying that he would say, all I had.
You ain't supposed to say. Okay, all I had, that was before then, because I had more than that then. All I had was dick and bubble gum, and I was all out of bubble gum. So for me, I was a superhero, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't the kind that was slinging capes. I was slinging something else. But within that,
within that, can't play this episode of church. Go ahead.
It's the truth. Play it in church. The truth. The Bible says the truth shall set you free.
That is true.
So
we're
within that,
by the words of our testimony.
So whenever I would meet people, I would find women that were trying to get me to change. They'd be like, I know this ain't you. You can tell by the way you talk to me. You communicate better than other guys. You give me more attention. But I'm like, I'm not interested. But whenever I did meet someone.
Oh, stop right there.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. Get it out.
Don't forget.
My husband don't get it out. He ain't going to
and my ADHD.
Go ahead.
See, you almost got it now. God
you
damn
hit
it.
something. Go ahead.
So within that, whenever I would tell somebody that I was interested in them, I was serious. If I didn't tell you I was interested in you, I'm just playing around, just looking, I wasn't. So anybody ever told it to, I was serious. So I'm sure that once I met you, that and cut stuff off, people thought I had it all the time. When I didn't. I didn't. It was just, I knew that when God was speaking to me, just like I know with some of the other areas they have in our life, when God was speaking to me, I know it was God.
Right.
And I was like, this God, I don't care what I think I got going on. And I already thought to myself, don't forget your thought, that I would never date anybody from a distance anyway. So I didn't think communicating with you was going to ever turn into anything anyway.
Right.
Because my ex, I was married to her from a distance and stuff happened. So I made a vow that I would never date anybody. I don't want that type of pain. That was the worst pain of my life. I thought I was going to die. I wanted to die. So I was like, man, so for that to happen, but go back to your thought. I'm sorry.
No, what I'm saying is, you know, you said something. You said that women will try to change you.
That's all y'all do.
Will try to change you, but you weren't interested. And that right there is a key, because we spend so many years, like I've spent myself so many years in relationships where I'm like, God, like, please change him. Like, I could see the potential. He can be this person. He can do this for me, you know? But he wasn't the one. He wasn't interested in me. I wasn't the one, you know? And I think that we get hung up on the fact of, okay, if I just do this, or I do this, or maybe if, you know, if I keep, you know, pushing it or egging him on or give him an ultimatum, you know, maybe he'll change. No, baby, he's not interested in you.
He might change what he tell you, but what he does is going to be probably totally different.
But I'm just saying, he's not interested.
Steve,
if you're into someone,
no, I'm agreeing with you.
You're not going to have to worry about that.
I'm agreeing with you. And I feel like, guys, we all know that women do this. They want to try to make you into something that you're not. I feel like Steve Harvey was oh man, this dude's a genius. He made women spend all their money trying to act like a man, think like a woman, trying to teach women how to act like a man, like that's going to make it. You're not going to make a man want you. If a man don't want you, he don't want you.
He don't want you, right.
And if there was some people, there were some things that I saw within them that I knew that if I spent time with them like that, it was some things that I really liked about them. But if I didn't tell them that, it was a reason, because of some things that I knew they weren't going to meet certain expectations that I wanted. And I don't want to, and for me, I didn't want to commit to somebody knowing that somebody else was going to come along and be in that thing that I wanted, and she never can meet those needs. So now I'm salivating. You looking at me, look at somebody else. And man, why don't he look at me like that? Because he can't look at you like that if you don't possess those things.
Right, right.
If that makes sense.
Right.
So from that point on, even though the person that I had met had great qualities, I was like, Lord, I'm listening to you, because I feel like even though I think they're a great person, I'm glad they married now, I got great stuff going on, which is amazing, because they're a great person, right? But I knew that God had me for you, right? And that's what I felt within that situation. So fast forwarding.
And because of my fear of rejection, because of my fear of being cheated on again, you know, in every relationship that I've been in, you know, I've unfortunately been cheated on, you know, and I think I got to a place where, because, and that's something that, you know, we can talk about later too.
Yeah, we definitely gonna talk about
our
that.
past, you know, and making each other pay for our past.
Oh.
And, you know, I was at a place where I was just like, God, I know this is you, but I'm scared, you know, so I would say, you know, because you would say, you know, there's somebody that I want to talk to or whatever, and I'm gonna go out and fly out and see this person, and I'm like, okay, cool, you go do that, because I'm talking to other people too, you know, but knowing that this is my Adam, you know, but that fear kept prolonging that, you know, and I got to a place where I'm just like, okay, you know, we can be boyfriend and girlfriend, but I'm not moving to Mississippi. That will never happen, you know, unless X, Y, and Z happen. And you will go to your prayer closet, you know, and my heart just kept changing and changing and changing until we got to the place where we are today. Me
and my boy Ronnie, we go pray. And we say, you know, if it's meant for you, God going to change your heart.
Yeah.
And every time you say that, every time you say that, we go and pray. That's one thing about it I would believe in. And if I knew if God gave it to me, that he was going to bring it to fruition, but I had to keep working for it.
Right.
And so even through the triumphs after that, we started bumping heads. And I'm like, man, whoa, guys, you know how you...
I'm talking about before we got married?
Before we got married, right? We was still spending time with God, but our personality clashes started happening. Those things from the past started creeping up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff we'll talk about in another episode, but we started bumping heads, and then we ended up breaking up, you know, through the process. And through that time breaking up, then I think it was my grandma. My grandma passed.
Your grandmother passed, yeah.
Yep.
That's January 2016.
Yep. So my grandma passed, and then when my grandma passed, some kind of way we ended up getting back together, because I wasn't forgetting, and you weren't forgetting that God gave us this stuff. You know what I'm saying? God gave us this for a reason and started showing us that we were supposed to be together. And so we need to pick it back up. And I'm still like, these issues ain't fixed.
Right.
You know, I knew those issues wasn't fixed, and I don't think you knew it, but
No, I think so. I think that we both got to a place where we're just like, we know that this is God ordained, but we have to do what we got to do to make it work.
I'm laughing
you know?
because we didn't know it was God ordained, but you talking about ultimatums earlier. You gave me an ultimatum. You gave me an ultimatum.
I don't remember. What
I
said.
remember. So we both knew that it was for us to be together, but I proposed to you a couple months after we had gotten together. After we had met each other.
August 5th of 2016.
All right, that's that woman memory.
Yep.
That memory, guys, that memory also works with digging up the past. So remember that. But within that, I'm looking and I'm like, man, I see some stuff. I'm not sure yet. We need to work out some things. Well, you're like, well, I didn't get this house. You stopped something with a house you're supposed to be building, right? And you're like, well, if I don't go ahead and marry you or whatever, you was gonna go ahead and get a house. And you're gonna be there, and I was gonna be, you know, and I was like, man, so you need to know something. So I was like, man. So I really kind of felt like it wasn't your attention, but I felt like a shotgun was behind me. And I'm like, man, I don't want to lose this because I know, for one, that God has basically showed so many signs that we're supposed to be together. And I knew that I couldn't do another long distance marriage. Yeah, so I was in a place, even going there getting married, I'm like, man, what's going on? Like, Lord, if this ain't for me, you know, it's for us, you know, to break this apart, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and we both had those conversations with God about, and I think that was just a fear. It was really the fear.
Definitely.
And we did marriage counseling, and I mean, no shade, but marriage counseling was not it.
No,
I think it didn't touch a lot of places in, I would say, marriage principles that would attack the inner. I think it was more expectation based.
So
you know, what do you expect? What do you realize?
And for me, I feel like because of my education in therapy and psychology, I knew that there was a lot of things that was going to clash between us, and I was trying to see it, but you couldn't see it at the moment. And we had already talked about all of our expectations. We talked about them to the T.
Yeah, I mean, expectations, yeah, you can talk about that all day, but as you evolve in marriage, and even right after
Man,
marriage,
it wasn't evolving.
You know,
It wasn't evolving.
It was just a whole,
It was totally different. So, bottom line, once we got married, you moved to Mississippi. We left straight. You had never lived in Mississippi before. Totally different. You from New York. All right. You were living in Charlotte at that time. Once we got married, you came home. Stuff totally changed. I expected you to be what you said you were going to be. And I think you probably think, we're going to talk about that too. I felt like I got catfished. Because we in a situation and I'm feeling like, man, you married this lover and this person to be, I married for help in my mind.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
As long as I wanted to see love through the actions of it, you know, in a sense.
Right.
And then once we got there,
we both felt like each other. We all
Yeah,
switched. Like,
switched.
I feel like you switched. You felt like I switched.
and I don't feel like I switched, but you feel like we switched. We'll talk about that later. But within that, I was like, we're going to work